Marcus Allen joins us. And Marcus, I'm kind of happy you're not down here on Radio Row this second. It's overwhelming as always. Thanks for joining us on the phone for a few minutes. How are you?
I'm doing great. What about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to seeing you as we got that casino event coming up at the Grayton Casino this weekend. So it'll be great to hook up with some VIPs and some fans. And I know you love those events, so you really get to sit down and have good one-on-ones with fans.
Well, I love people. I love engaging. I love meeting people. So I look forward to having a good time.
Marcus, we just had Tim Brown on, and he mentioned after Mendoza won the the Heisman Trophy, he was texting him every week since. All accounts look like he's going to come here. Another Heisman Trophy winner joining the Raiders family potentially. You got to be excited about that.
Well, I listen. I think he's an outstanding player, but we need to build the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
That to me, that's what's really important. The line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and it doesn't really matter who you have a quarterback. You can have a very talented guy back there, and it can be Joe Montana. But if he can't, if he's under siege all the time, it makes life difficult. So we need, I think, you build teams from the inside out. If I was a GM, that's what I would always do. Certainly start at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
And Marcus, I can sense from you and talking to you before this interview, you really believe that's a super priority with this team to get the guys in front of the quarterback and especially the running back who you're getting along great with Ashton Jeanty. You watched Ashton last year. He was getting hammered, tattooed behind the line of scrimmage the majority of the time and still had a pretty productive year when it came to all-purpose yards. Imagine what it would have looked like if he had a great offensive line.
Yeah, well, the running back can be your best friend if given time and room to do, I think what he was, what he's capable of doing. Yeah, my hat's off to him. I tell you what, it's nothing is more discouraging for a running back than to get constant penetration. Getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, even before you get started. And if you look at, a lot of the games, that was the majority of the time it appeared. Obviously he did have some good games. He was able to show you glimpses of what he could do if given even more room. So I think it's important, again, whether it's a running back or quarterback, I think if you look at the two teams that are playing in the Super Bowl, they're good at the line of scrimmage. Sam Darnold has time to throw, and they run the ball well. The same with the Patriots. They run the ball well, and they have time to throw too. So that's a combination that most teams would love to have.
Marcus Allen is our guest. Marcus, you also were a great fullback. The Raiders have gotten away from the fullback position. Do you think they need to bring it back after they secure the offensive line? That takes one less receiver out of the play here. But, man, the Raiders haven't had a fullback for a while, and it sure looks like Ashton Jeanty can use that.
Oh, yeah. I've always liked a fullback in the backfield. Obviously, it's almost like it's a Me Too league. If one team does it, the rest of the teams will follow. So now there's a single back emphasis and, getting either two tight ends in the game or a third wide receiver seems to be what is in vogue right now. But I think every team should have its own identity. I don't think you should copy other teams. You should do what fits your personnel. So I'm all for having my own identity and not being like everybody else. So, but I think you should have single back. I think you should have a fullback as well. I think you should be able to have multiple packages, multiple different looks. But again, you have to be dominant at the line of scrimmage, and particularly up the middle. because quarterbacks really don't get spooked on the edge. They get spooked when there's guys in their face. And so you have to be really strong at the center and the two guard positions. Obviously, if you have some, at least decent tackles, they can push guys to the outside, and the quarterback can always step up in the pocket. But you can't have, guys in your face, and because you can never step up. You're, always throwing on your back foot, and after a while, if you continue to get hit, you're just looking to get the ball out of your hand, and I think that was sort of evident last year.
Marcus, I want to wrap it up. I appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you this weekend. But with two people important in your life, first off, your comments on Tom Flores. The Raider Nation did a big viewing party for him. He was at home with Barb and his kids and was able to see Raider fans on the live stream. And, the speech that you gave at Tom's party for the Hall of Fame had a really big impact on my life. And you really prepared it well and gave the love that you wanted to give to Tom Flores. I don't know how often you're in touch with him now, but I wanted to get some thoughts on Coach Flores and what he means to you.
Well, I actually stopped by Tom's house when I was in Palm Springs, and we spent a lot of time together. And we actually had there were some things that he told me that I didn't realize, but I did know that Tom and Ron Wolf were the ones that really wanted me. And there was Olympic Gold Bowl, the first and last time they had a sort of a college all-star game in San Diego, and he was my coach. And I think he had some conversations with John Robinson, and John Robinson always emphasized, hey, throw him the ball, right? And I don't think people realize that we ran it so much at SC that very few people, I think, saw me really catch the ball as much as I did. I did, run some option routes and things like that, screens at USC. But John Robinson said, throw him the ball. And I remember one particular play was a down, out, and up where I caught the ball. I was stretched out, and I dove forward and caught it. And I think really at that point, Tom said, we're going with Marcus Allen. So he kind of cleared that up. I had that idea, but he really sort of confirmed it for me and stuff. But we had a long conversation. We just talked about so many things. And Tom is just so, so lucid, so clear-headed. He's on top of everything, and his wife Barbara was there, and my brother Michael. So we stopped by, and we just had a great time with Tom. And you actually get an opportunity. I saw all the trophies that he had, his jerseys and stuff. I was really just sort of blown away because I hadn't seen all those things. But more than anything, it's like this is what you would hope in a relationship, in a coach-player relationship that, 40 years later, or whatever it may be, that you still have this deep, meaningful relationship, and you hope that those years that you sort of you gave it everything, didn't go in vain, but it even hit deeper, and I think that's the relationship that Tom and I had, because I was really sort of touched because he believed in me, he invested in me. He gave me the opportunity. He switched things up for me, you know what I mean? And so I was, one that would always acknowledge Tom and fight for him, and because he fought for me. He was in my corner. And there were times that he pulled me off the field. I think one time in my career I was getting into, I think it was against the Philadelphia Eagles. One of the players kind of grabbed my Adam's apple in a pile, and I kind of went ballistic. And I went to the Philadelphia sidelines, and I was cursing. I was doing all kinds of things, right? And Tom pulled me off the field, right? And he had never done that before. But I guess I never lost it like that. But he's always been my guy, and it was always great to go spend time with him. And then, obviously, with the opportunity to let everybody else know how much it meant to me. But I had, again, time to go spend with him, just he and I really talking and let him know how much he means to me.
That is an incredible, amazing journey you just took us on, and I'm just going to follow up with one more. Rod Martin, you mentioned your USC years, your USC brother, 3 interceptions in a Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 15. Should have received a portion of the MVP award, but I know how much Rod Martin means to you and the impact that he's had on your life.
Yeah, I had a chance to go see Rod as well the last time I was in Las Vegas, and it's tough. It really is. Again, when I got there, obviously the USC connection, but Rod was almost like a big brother. Rod he had my back from day one. And we were always close. I remember Rod going through some health issues and going some surgery and stuff, and I cared about Rod so much. I remember I had called up Joe Theismann. I called up Doug Williams. I cut up all these guys, and I said, listen here, man, Rod Martin, isn't doing well, but listen here, I need you guys to call him up and cheer him up and stuff. And he just really appreciated it. I mean, I called him maybe like 10 guys or so, but I even called opponents, you know what I mean? Guys that not just teammates, guys that I know that really respected Rod for his game, and so yeah, we've it's always a long winding road and stuff, but it's always a consistent one with us, and especially the fact that he's a USC Trojan means a great deal, and I guess that's why I'm also pulling for the Seattle Seahawks. You mentioned Rod Martin, 3 interceptions and stuff during the Super Bowl. Well, USC players, I think we've had the most players play in games, Super Bowl games. And so, but we've never had a quarterback start the Super Bowl. So Sam is our first quarterback starting the Super Bowl. So hopefully he'll have an impact like Rod Martin did. But Rod Martin, what an amazing story. I don't know if he's a free agent, got released, and there was another guy that John Robinson said, though, Tom Flores, this guy could play. And Rod turned about to be one of the cornerstones, really, of our team, and one of the guys that just really had the greatest Raider attitude on the field. Rod didn't take shit from nobody, and he was just again, you go from free agent to defensive player of the year, and then having impacts in the Super Bowl. Not only the one where he had 3 interceptions, he made that great play on 4th down against the Redskins and then recovered a fumble. So Rod has 4 turnovers, created 4 turnovers in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And I saw him in Vegas and stuff. Very, very tough for me because I love him so much. Great, one of the greatest Raider players I think ever, and you don't listen here. You don't win without caring about people. There are people that really sort of impact your life in such a positive way and stuff, and you cannot articulate how much you care about those people. It's almost inadequate. Most people won't understand, but when I get an opportunity to tell Rod, and when I get an opportunity to tell Tom, I make sure I let them know.
Thank you, Marcus. It's one of the more memorable conversations we've ever had, and I know our audience appreciates everything you said. I'll see you this weekend at the Great and look forward to it, and thanks so much for your time as always.
You got it, JT.